Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we're doing the breakdown video for the Navarrette versus Conceicao WBO Super Featherweight Championship fight that takes place on Thursday, November 16th on the ESPN undercard to the Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin De Los Santos lightweight title fight. Again, that's taking place on Thursday, November 16th on ESPN. Really looking forward to this one right here. This is a good fight between two top tier super featherweights right here, and it's going to be a good test and challenge for both guys. Excuse me one second. Now, before we get into the fight and the breakdown, if you guys could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel up here. 579 subscribers strong. I'd like to get to 600 by the end of the year, so help me out. So in the breakdown videos, again, we break down the fight, we talk about the fight coming in, and then we get to each fighter. In a title fight like this, we would start after we break down the fight in total, like talk about the fight coming in, we break down each fighter one at a time and talk about what they're doing moving forward, and you know, or what they've been doing, and then we get into the same questions on both sides. Again, we start with the champion, and then we work to the challenger in a title fight. So let's get into it. Let's talk about this fight. I mean, I don't know if people are as excited for this one as I am, but I think this is a great challenge and a great matchup for Navarrete, who solidified himself as the top guy at 130 when he dominated Valdez back in August. And now he's jumping right back in against Conceicao. And Conceicao really hasn't had a chance to prove himself after the Valdez fight that he had back in 2021. You know, he should have won that fight. I feel like, I don't know if I'd call it a flat-out robbery, but it was definitely a controversial fight. He won most of the early rounds. Yes, Valdez closed the fight strong in the second half, but I still felt that Conceicao did enough to deserve the decision, and it didn't go his way, so it happens. But I am very excited about this because Conceicao, you know, he dominated Xavier Martinez last year and then ended up running into Stevenson, but Stevenson came in overweight, you know, and a lot of people are going to say that Stevenson would have beat him, dominated him no matter what. I think he would have won. Stevenson would have won convincingly no matter what. But the point is that he had an advantage. One second, guys. The point is that Stevenson had the weight advantage, and you don't know what the fight would have looked like if Stevenson would have came in on weight. So that in itself meant that, you know, Conceicao deserved another crack at it, and now he's getting it. And, you know, for Navarrete, he has to look just as good or better because he's already filed for the WBO Super Champion status. He's filed for that with the WBO, which means if he's victorious here, he could be moving up to lightweight and potentially challenging for the vacant WBO title against Vasily Lomachenko. So he wants to look good in this fight so he can sell an even bigger fight. And Conceicao is tough. He's a tough challenge, and his style is what's going to make this one interesting. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. So let's start with the champion, Emmanuel Navarrete, and let's talk about what he's done coming into this fight. His last three fights, which that's what we cover, date back to August of last year when he was still fighting at 126. He took on Eduardo Baez. That was his last fight at 126, and he scored a 6th-round knockout on a brutal body shot against Baez, and what was a competitive fight up until that point, but he landed a brutal left hook to the body that hurt Baez and put him down for the count as Navarrete retained his WBO featherweight title at 126. Then he made his debut back in February of this year and fought for the vacant title against the vacant WBO title against Liam Wilson of Australia, who was undefeated. And Wilson actually put Navarrete down earlier in the fight, but Navarrete weathered that storm and broke down Liam Wilson and stopped him impressively in the 9th round to capture a championship in a 3rd weight class, which is, I think he's only the 9th or 10th Mexican-born fighter that that has captured championships in 3 weight classes or more. So that was a big deal. And then he would defend his title for the first time against Oscar Valdez, and conceivably score the biggest victory of his career, dominating Valdez over 12 rounds in a very convincing unanimous decision effort. So Navarrete rolling in, is coming in hot, and he's pumped up. He wants those big time fights against Vasily Lomachenko, or Shakur Stevenson at 135, and he is hungry and wants this one. Definitely into it. So what does Navarrete need to do to beat Conceicao? And it's, the thing is, he has the reach advantage. That's what's funny. I think he has a 2-inch reach advantage over Conceicao, but Conceicao's 3.5 inches taller than him. But he has the youth advantage, does Navarrete. Conceicao's 35, Navarrete's 28. So Navarrete, in my opinion, he doesn't need to just be boxing against Conceicao, because I think Conceicao beats him if he does that, or has a better chance of beating him. I think he just needs to cut the ring off, make sure he gets in close and land those left hooks and awkward punches, and that can spell the difference for him for sure if he can do that kind of stuff. So I think that's beneficial for Navarrete. Get inside and land those awkward style punches, the left hook, and try to break down Conceicao, and just keep throwing volume punching, and I think that's a key to victory right there. Now, can Navarrete win this fight by knockout? Conceicao's tough. This guy can take punches. He's a tough guy. I don't see Navarrete knocking him out. Not to say that he can't, because Navarrete is a kind of style that can break down a fighter, but I don't see this one going down. Can Navarrete beat him by a decision? Beat Conceicao by a decision? I absolutely think he can. I think his volume punching, his awkward style can do that, and I think he can win by a decision for sure. What does a win mean for Navarrete? It means a lot, because right now he is, after the Valdez victory, he is on the verge of landing bigger fights. All he needs to do is continue to win, and he'll get those bigger fights that he wants at 135 especially. So a win here really leads to those bigger ones, and I think he's trying to close out the year strong with another big win. So yeah, a win here is big for him for sure. Now, what does he need to do to secure or what does a loss mean for Navarrete? A loss really hurts Navarrete. I think it hurts him bad, because it causes him to get bucked down it stops that steam and roll that he's on to try to become a world champion again. Like I said, it really stops. To become go for that 4-weight world championship or fight for a major title. It really, a major title at 135, it really derails him, and he can't afford that. That's why this is such a risky fight right here, because he's already kind of in that driver's seat, and now he's taking that risk. So it would be tough. So let's switch over to the challenger, Robson Conceicao, and break him down now. So we start with what he's done rolling into the fight. Well, his last 3 fights date back to, I believe, at the beginning of last year. At January of last year, he took on Xavier Martinez, who was an undefeated contender on the rise. And Conceicao was coming off that loss to Oscar Valdez, and he looked great against Martinez. He dominated him, got a one-sided 10-round unanimous decision, and stayed on par. Then he fought Shakur Stevenson last year, I believe in November, and came up short there. He challenged for the vacant unified titles. It was his second crack at the title, and Stevenson was the heavier of the two, and Stevenson dominated him over 12, but again, Stevenson had that weight advantage, and we don't know if the fight would have been closer or not, but he definitely had a weight advantage, and you can't ignore that. So that definitely was a tough one right there. And then he fought earlier this year in June, I believe. He took on a fighter and got a controversial, or it was a no contest. I'm sorry, it was a 2-round no contest as he tried to stay busy. But now he's going for, a world title, another world title. This is his third opportunity, and I think he's hungry. I think he's been waiting around for another opportunity. He's got it here against Navarrette, and I think he is ready to go. He's coming in with the height advantage, a 3.5-inch height advantage, but a 2-inch disadvantage in reach. Now, he can definitely pull this one off. He can, but it's going to be a tough one. It really is. So we're going to see what he can do in this fight, against him. Now, what does he need to do to win this fight? I think he needs to box, but he needs to try to stop Navarrette as he comes at him. He needs to try to stop him with jabs, like right out the gate. He needs to really have his stamina up and be prepared for a high work rate and throw off Navarrette's timing, because Navarrette is going to throw a lot of punches, and he needs to try to offset that with his boxing ability and his skill. He can do that. He might be able to keep this fight close and might be able to pull it off. Now, can he win this fight by knockout? I don't think so. And he's not a big time power puncher, and he's more of a pure boxer, and I just don't see him pulling off a knockout victory over Navarrette. I think it's going to the cards. Can he win by a decision? I think he can. I think if he boxes and can throw off the timing and mix it up, I definitely think he can pull off an upset decision victory here over Navarrette. Now, what does a win mean for Conceicao here? It means everything. It's his third crack at a world title. He's 35. A loss here probably drops him down because he does have an awkward style. He is difficult to deal with, and 130 is just not brimming with opportunity. It's not, because there's not a lot of top-ranked guys at 130. So if he cannot pull this victory off, or at least make it close, it's going to be tough. So a win means everything for Conceicao, trying to become a world champion finally. What does a loss mean for Conceicao? It really hurts him. Like I said, a loss really hurts him because it could be his last opportunity. It's his third crack at a title, and he really wants to make a dent and try to prove himself, and he needs to really bust his ass in this fight to try to win. So a loss really would hurt him, and it might drop him down to that stepping stone type status, and he might not get another crack because, again, he doesn't have the most attractive style. So a loss would hurt. Now, is it better for boxing if Emmanuel Navarrete or Robson Conceicao wins this fight? And it's better for boxing if Navarrete wins. Navarrete's younger. He's got a more attractive style. He's definitely fun to watch. And he's a top-tier fighter. He really is. He's very good. He's in his prime. And, it absolutely is better for boxing. Now, it just wouldn't be great for boxing if Conceicao pulled it off, even though it'd be a nice story. He's 35, his style isn't the most attractive, and it's tough. It would be tough to bring in big fights for Conceicao if he pulls off the upset here. Now, finally, what's my pick? Who do I think is going to win this WBO super featherweight title fight at 130 pounds on November 16th on the undercard of ESPN? I am picking Navarrete to win. I think he took this fight not to overlook Conceicao, because he's not an opponent you overlook. I think he took it on 3 months' notice to make a statement. I think he's going to be pumped up and ready, and I think he wants the challenge. And I think him giving Conceicao another opportunity that he deserves really says a lot about the character and respect that Navarrete has for the sport. But I think he's going to pull this one off. I think he's winning this fight by a decision. It'll be a deserving decision. It might not be a blowout, but it could end up being an ugly fight because Conceicao doesn't have a great attractive style, and he's a good boxer. He is a good classic boxer counterpuncher. So that awkwardness that he has might provide for not an all-action fight, but I think Navarrete's still going to make it an action fight. He's the busier guy, and I think he's going to go for it, and I think he wins this by a unanimous decision and retains his WBO 130-pound title on the undercard. But don't miss this card. Thursday, November 16th on ESPN. And it's the co-feature, Navarrete versus Conceicao. This has been the breakdown video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.